beyond.
Put it down over there, will you please, Kathy? And draw the drapes behind you. Thank you.
I'm afraid I'm kind of new at this,
I have no objection to the term mumbo-jumbo, Mrs. Watson. However, I am not one of those old-fashioned humbugs who entertained her sitters with ectoplasm, floating horns, or ancient Indian chiefs. Kathy, if you have a tape recorder, you might like to record our sitting. Many of my clients do.
Oh, yes, I would, Mrs. Reba. Thank you. I'll just get it.
I don't know how familiar you are with the disappearance of Kathy's husband, George, on the archaeological expedition in Venezuela.
I know that only the bodies of the other 3 men were recovered.
Missing and presumed dead. Not knowing the fate of a loved one could be far more difficult to bear than the certain knowledge of his death. It's been 3 very long years since Kathy LeMasters received those chilling words about her beloved husband, George. She is still unable to accept the presumption of his death. And so the normally level-headed and very down-to-earth Kathy is, in desperation, trying to reach George or to discover some definitive answer as to what happened to him with the seance. Is George gone, or is he still alive somewhere in the depths of the Venezuelan jungle? The answer to that question will prove to be a shock and an incredible surprise far beyond the expectations of Kathy or the medium.
Station A, Downsview, Ontario. M3M 3E8.
It's so hot here. I can't see the sky. I can't hear the roar. Green mist.
I told them to stay away from the falls. There was so much mist. It was like sailing through a green cloud.
Who are you?
My name is Terry Canfield.
He was one of the 3 men with George.
Where are you?
George LeMasters.
Are you a friend of George LeMasters?
George LeMasters.
George LeMasters. They were too close to the falls. right, let's have it.
Let's have it.
Are you going to give me that paper, or do I call a bunco squad?
Get out of here.
Move it!
Bill, what are you doing here?
Darling, Mrs. Reba's a fraud. The ghost voice you heard coming from her earrings and various other speakers is her assistant. Now, the private detective I hired has just put him out of business.
This is not the last you'll hear from me.
Are you going to prefer charges?
I am not.
I think I'd better be running on.
Joan, I'm sorry. This is my house, and those were my guests.
Yes, one of whom is a fake.
If I want to be taken in, that's my privilege. I just wish you'd stop running my life.
In case you've forgotten, I love you. I've asked you to marry me.
And in case you've forgotten, I haven't given you my answer yet.
I'm aware of that.
I'm sorry, Bill. Mrs. Reba may be a little theatrical, but she told me things that no one could have known who wasn't in touch with somebody on that expedition. That they were looking for gold as well as artifacts, for example.
Look, she doesn't know anything that good research couldn't uncover. I have proof they interviewed several local archaeologists. And the only reason they chose Terry Canfield's spirit is he's the only member of the expedition whose voice you've never heard.
There are honest mediums.
Did you believe that before George died?
Disappeared.
Did you?
I don't know. I never really thought about it.
Exactly. So, do you think George would like you doing this? Keeping the house exactly the way he left it? Living in the past, still wearing his wedding ring?
Bill, I've got to know. I can't make a new life for myself until I do. If they found his body, even if a medium contacted his ghost, then I'd know for sure he was dead.
This isn't fair to me. For the past year and a half, I've been competing with a ghost. I mean, that's a fight I know I can't win.
I know. But I told you how it was with me the first time we met, Bill.
I just thought you'd get over it. Listen. I love you, Kathy. I can't change that even if I want to. So, if you ever need me for anything, I'm always gonna be there. But I can't share you with a ghost. So, if you ever decide to take off that wedding ring, I'll be waiting.
It's almost dark. I'm sitting on the sagging porch of our shack beside a green jungle stream. This morning we crossed it on a swinging rope bridge.